Hi everyone. Hi, welcome. I'm so excited to be welcoming the beautiful and amazing Siobhan Barnes from the Neon Life Society here today. So do you want to say a little quick hello, Shiv?
Yeah, I'm just really excited to be here. I've been following your journey for many years. We go quite a ways back, and yeah, I'm just really thrilled to be hanging out with you tonight.
Fantastic. Well, I'm absolutely honoured that you will join me. So, in terms of where we go back to, we have a sort of a fight over a little fight over one person. So, my best friend at uni was your best friend at school. So, you
That's
went to
right.
school in Hong Kong, and I went to uni in the UK. And so, yeah, we have a mutual best buddy, which is very lovely.
Yeah.
And so we got to know each other a little bit. I love everything you do. I've been following you. I saw you shift from your amazing like corporate. You're like this perfect package of a women, like totally beautiful and doing this high flying job in Goldman Sachs and all these just picture perfect life in Hong Kong, and just thinking wow, and then seeing you take this massive like emerging breakthrough of just creating your own business, which is the Neon Life Society, and really helping other women step into their power and
Mm.
finding their light. And everything you do that I've seen is just so aligned with what I'm passionate about, which is helping women believe in themselves and finding what they're really here to do. So
Mm.
I'm really excited to hear your take on how you do this and how you could support some of the women in our team as well. So just love to know, just a little bit about your story. How did that happen? When was the moment when you were like, this isn't for me and I got to change?
Well, thank you for your kind words. It's amazing how things can look a certain way on the outside, but on the inside be completely different. So I did have this corporate career and it was quote unquote successful. But for me, my moment of like, what the hell am I doing with my life was ironically in India, like this land of spiritual awakenings. And I was there on a business trip, um, you know, we were building a campus and looking at all that kind of stuff. So it was busy times, but I got off this conference call and it was like a 5:30 in the morning conference call. It was very masculine, like just a lot of like proving ourselves and like who's doing this, who's not doing that. And I just got off that call and I thought, what the hell am I doing? I am not happy. I don't I care about my work, but I don't really care about this. Like, it's not what lights me up. It's not what gets me out of bed in the morning. And at the time, I was about to get married. And I don't know, there's something about like changing your name and becoming a mother and all these kind of like big life transitions, which get you thinking about, okay, who am I? What am I really here to do? And I'd been working in my career long enough to have built up, a certain level of credibility or reputation. But, was looking at like 30, maybe even 40 years in terms of like more work. And I was like, do I want to build this body of work? Is this what I want to be known for? I know I want to roll my sleeves up and do something meaningful, but I just don't know what that meaningful is. And that was the journey. That was the first starting point to coming to the Neon Life Society, which is where I am today. And honestly, Ali, our missions are pretty much identical. We want to
Yeah.
support women to own their power, come into their light, be who they are, and follow their own paths. That's something you and I have both had to figure out on our own. And the vehicle with which we do this is just different, right? Like, you've got doTERRA, the essential oils, you have a team. For me, it's more traditional coaching. And so the iteration to where I am today, there's been lots of ups and downs. I actually wanted to start an organic skincare business when I left Goldman Sachs, and I actually wish I knew about doTERRA because it would have been perfect. But life has a way of working out the way it's meant to, and the mess ups that I made along the way got me to where I am today. But that's really how I got to here in a very quick nutshell.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love it. And I think for me, I think we sometimes see these people who will have an amazing corporate career and then have this big breakthrough. Like, one of the major people in doTERRA who's flown really high is a lady called Hayley Hobson, and she was like this high flying lawyer, and then she became a massive success in doTERRA. And I think those of us who, not, I hate the word just, but just mums at home, but we have the same story. And I think often, whether it's a corporate job, or whether it's a retail job, or whether it's at home doing the same Groundhog Day, washing the dishes and packing the lunches, and just thinking there's got to be more. Like, I don't think it matters where you've come from or what that environment or what that setting looks like. I think those of us who just start this journey and we don't even realize it, and this little niggly voice is inside saying, there's more, it rises and it comes out, and that's what we want to find out, what are you really here for. So I think it's really important to know that, whether or not someone's coming from this environment or this environment, we're all worthy of listening to that voice. And I'd love to hear from you how you help women all across the board. I know you have like a global, massive network of women that you help, and I'd love to know what your main key tools are that you would support them, finding that voice, because sometimes we know there's something, but we don't know what it is. I'd love to hear from you how you bring that out of people.
Okay. Yeah, well, the first thing I will say, like going back to what you're saying about it doesn't matter who you are and where you come from, I absolutely believe that, because this is where we go wrong. We equate what we do and how we're showing up as our value. And I have a wholehearted belief that all of us are of equal, quote unquote, value and worth as a human being. Like, how can you say one person's life is worth more than another? You can't. We're all human beings, we're all equal. The value piece comes in like the work you do and how you're like, providing value to somebody through the services that you offer. But who you are at a soul level as a woman is freaking more than enough. Mm-hmm. And that more than enough piece is pretty much the fundamental part of the work that I do, because all of us have a belief in some way, shape, or form that who we are and what we're doing isn't enough. Mm-hmm. And I think part of it is, conditioning and cultural. I grew up in Hong Kong. My mom's Asian, so I've got the Asian background, which is always kind of like, Asian tiger mom, like, be better, you're not doing enough. But, regardless of where you are in the world, and this has been one of the real benefits of the work that I do, I get to work with women all over the world, and we're all the freaking same. We all bump up against this. Am I enough? Do I have something of value to add? Is it okay if I share my voice? So if you're listening to this, if there's one thing I want you to take away from today, it's just own the fact that you are enough and that you can have what you desire in your life. It's just a question of, I know belief is a big part of the doTERRA, business and model, but really you have to have that belief and conviction and then follow through with action steps and strategy. But the key piece is to come back to who you are. So that's mainly the work that I do, helping a woman come back to who she is. And my work has taken a bit of a turn recently. It's a bit more spiritual. So I did help women find that 6-figure salary job. I helped women start their businesses. And I got to a point in my own business where I was like, this isn't really it. It's not fulfilling. Like, again, what am I doing? I'm helping a woman achieve her goal, but it's an empty goal and it's empty success. So that got me down the spiritual path where I had to look at myself and do my own personal development work, which I know is similar to doTERRA, right? You got to do the personal work before you can create the outward, manifestation of what it is you want. So some of the tools I use are the Akashic Records to actually help a woman jumpstart what her soul gifts are. So the Akashic Records, this can sound a bit ethereal and out there, but
go for it.
It's basically like a giant Google energetic database, which has all the information about who you are at soul level. And I learned from a very heady and practical teacher. She went to Cambridge. She's like methodical, which is my jam. When I'm looking at spirituality, I kind of want to know the facts and, be logical about it. But, I'm literally a mirror to help a woman see who she is. Like, these are your soul gifts. This is how you connect with your intuition at this time. This is what your life lesson is. And this is why you might be attracting the same situations time in, time out, because that's why we're here. We're here to evolve. We're here to grow. We need the crappy situations to appreciate the good and learn. And essentially, if you can adopt that mindset that you're here to learn, it changes everything. Yeah. Granted, I am human. I mess up on this all the time and I get stuck in the weeds, but big picture, that's important. So that's one tool, helping a woman understand who she is at soul level. The other major tool that I use is all body-based coaching. So helping a woman come into her body and feel those emotions that are coming up for her. And you can't get stuck in something if you move through it. So it's, I know with doTERRA, you've got the oils and you can trigger and like go back to a memory or like get into the mindset or the mood to do something, and it can support you, which is beautiful. And the same thing with the body-based work. It helps you to do the deeper work that you need to go along with the oils. So it's not just like, oh yeah, I need to feel strong. I'm going to sniff this and it's going to be good. It's like, no, what do you need to work through to actually anchor that in? So that's a lot of the work that I do, as well as some mind-based therapies as well. So a few different ways of approaching it.
Absolutely. That's incredible. I'd love to learn more about that myself. Can you tell me a little bit about how that actually works? Because I know but being based in Hong Kong and having, international market, how do you actually connect with people?
So all of my work is actually done via Zoom, like we're doing today, online, which is a real benefit. Like it allows me to connect to women all over the world. I mean, we're kind of in the same time zone, Hong Kong and Australia, Brisbane, not too far away, but if someone's in LA, I can work around different schedules, which is cool. So it's mainly all online, even for clients in Hong Kong. I meet them
and
like
how
this.
do you find, I'm sorry to interrupt, how do you find that energetically? Because I know when it comes to the spiritual world, there's that whole energy exchange. So how does that feel for you?
It actually works pretty well for me. So if I do somebody's soul blueprint, so I have these things called the soul blueprint intensives to help a woman sort of get the lay of the land. Like I do all the research in advance, actually. So I do that in my own little energetic bubble. And then when I come to present to the client, then I set up the space energetically, even across, this kind of container, we can do that. One-on-one is obviously still beautiful, but honestly, I'm a mom of 3. My kids are 2, 4, and 6. It's just not doable right now.
Yeah, I totally understand, but I think that's lovely. I love the idea that you set the space. I know we spoke about this last time we spoke, and I just thought it's really beautiful that you can still create, or not still, but as well create this beautiful atmosphere and energy right across. And I feel it like that whole sense that it doesn't matter where you are, and that energy is energy, and that I know for one, like my Reiki healer, she's the most beautiful woman ever, and if you even tiny mention that there's a little child in the house that has one tiny little thing wrong with them, it's suddenly gone. We use the oils, but obviously I know sometimes there's just extra energy in the house, and I will message and just say thank you, and she's like, you're welcome. And it's like, it doesn't matter where you are.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's amazing. So and so I just really appreciate that sense of energetic work, that it doesn't really matter where you are, and I just think that's really beautiful. So in terms of the success stories of women that you've helped, I'm assuming it's mainly women that you're working with, are you able to share some of those with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's interesting, when I work with women, they're earlier on in their personal development journey, right? So most of them are corporate women. Some of them want to start a business. Some of them are just asking those questions of what the hell am I doing? What am I meant to do with my life? Which is where I started. And so different women have got different results. So the one thing I want to preface before I share is that the outside, we were talking about this, the external result that they got was one thing, and it's not that which is the important thing. It's not the starting a business. It's not the going back to corporate. It's actually aligning to your path and feeling freaking good that you've made the right choice for yourself. That is honestly the real success story, because we don't all have to follow the same roadmap to success. Like, Ali, you're great proof of like busting that mold. I'm sure when you were at university, you didn't think you'd be doing this. You were doing something else, and
not
right. And you've created success for yourself. And so that for me is the definition of success. But one woman I worked with recently, she was in that crappy job situation, was like commuting an hour and a half to work every day up in China from Hong Kong. She was from somewhere else. And it was horrible, very time consuming, really difficult. And she actually, it's a beautiful, like, fast forward to today, she's now followed her heart's calling. She's living in the US with her partner. She's become a freelancer. She started her own business, managed to land 2 clients who were her previous employers, and earned $10,000 US in revenue as a consultant, like right off the bat. And, in between, she found her bridge job. She went back to her old job, got paid more of a salary, and just the money aligned, everything aligned. And so for her, that was successful. For another woman, she left corporate, started her business. And when we met, she was in her business, and she actually came to the realization that she wanted to close it, and that, it was actually better off for her to go back to corporate at this time. She still wanted to have more kids, but she had a relationship with a particular organization and was like, actually, that's going to be a great fit. She did that. And now she's like, okay, I'm going to follow my passion and be a teacher now. And so you know, on the outside, it might look like she chopped and changed, but on the inside, it was exactly the right path for her because she learned those lessons, and she served that purpose for when she was pregnant or when she wanted to have another kid. And then now she's like, yep, when I move back to Australia, I can be a teacher and be more active in my, you know, kids' education. So it was the right plan for her. Yeah. So those are just a couple of examples, but there are many others, and I know we're short on time.
Absolutely. What I love and what I really think about like those examples is that whole, well, so it might look like this, but it's like, well, who is anyone to judge? Like, you know, really, if her feelings are aligned, then that's all that matters. And I think just that stopping worrying what other people are thinking, and also dropping any judgment of others, but of ourselves. Totally. And I think the biggest form of self-care and self-development and self-acceptance that we can have is just to drop the guilt. Like that has just been so resounding for me over the past few weeks. I mean, I've always had it there, but it's just dropped the guilt about everything. Like, is the house messy? Well, so what? Like, the house is messy. It's like, well, so has anyone died? No. So it's just, you know, we can, all that matters is that we are, you know, loving and kind and just doing what feels right. And actually really beautifully, I have to add this, just started recently exercising, which is not my jam. And because it's the school holidays here, I had to take the kids with me to exercise at the park. And Beth, who's now 10, which is just crazy, but she said to me, Mommy, do you enjoy doing this exercise? And I was like, no, I don't. And she was like, well, then you shouldn't be doing it. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad you've got that message. I've won. Like, you know, she gets it. I now have to teach her that some things, you know, the goal of what you're going for might be something that you want more, and, you know, we'll have that extra conversation. But I love that she's just like, well, if it doesn't feel aligned, don't do it. And I just feel like that's just such a massive, you know, shift and change. And I'm so glad that the next generation are hopefully going to embrace that from such a younger age.
It's huge. And that's the thing, like our kids, you know, this whole journey is also, I'm guessing for you, been a great journey to learn how to parent, or at least try to parent like as best you can. But, you know, it's not about what we're saying, it's actually about what we're doing. And so that's such a beautiful example that Beth's picking up on it. Like, okay, if that's not in alignment, why are you doing that? Maybe you should try yoga or do something else, you know, like to get to that fitness goal. But it's, you know, this work is very powerful. And you mentioned that phrase, just a mum, earlier on.
Yeah.
And I've said that before, and it's like, we've got to stop that. Like, being a mum is freaking amazing. It is, I think, one of the greatest tools for transformation on the planet. Just by looking after your unit, raising your kids right, you've done a fabulous job. And, you know, you don't have to be a mum as well to create that change. You know, you can be an auntie, you can be a sister, and all these beautiful things. So,
or just raise other women, as you're doing, like helping, empowering other women. That's what we're doing as parents. We're bringing this light out of our children, but as a coach, you're bringing the light out of women. It's all training the next generation. It might not be generation, they may be older than you, but it's that it's bringing the light out in other people. That's all parenting is. Not all, but that it is the most powerful job on the planet. I mean, that's what it is. So hand, you know, high five you. Can't think of the word.
High five you too, mama.
So what should somebody do if they're like, yeah, I'm in this, like, you know, they might, if you're watching this, you might be in doTERRA and knowing that it's, you know, the right thing for you, but you're just not really sure how to get into it because you're sort of stuck in your belief, or you might be not in doTERRA and you're just still, you know, knowing there's something more, knowing that you're looking for something that's more aligned with you, but you just don't know where to start. How should somebody be able to tap into what you're offering?
Yeah, so I've got a free workbook. It's called The 3 Keys to a Soul-Aligned Career. And that really walks you through what the 3 keys are so that you can make sure that you're making the quote-unquote right choice for where you want to go next. So doTERRA business might be the right call of action. You know, staying in corporate might be right, but you've got to come back to you first. So that's the first resource that I can give you to really support you to figure out, okay, what is my definition of success in accordance with these 3 principles? And I have a weekly blog. You can come follow me. My website is theneonlifesociety.com, or my Instagram, Facebook is under the same handle, Neon Life Society. So yeah, you can come and follow me there. And I'd love to give you that free resource to get you started.
That's brilliant. Well, I can't wait to download it and get myself started on that as well. So I hope lots of people will be joining me in that. And I just really appreciate you jumping on. You've got such wisdom. You're so relatable and just so lovely. And we're just really honored to have had you here. So thank you so much for joining us.
It's been a total pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Okay, bye.
Bye.